I've been all across this country.
Okie dokie, folks, and welcome back to the show. This is Monday Night Shaw right here on the Backbreaker Media Network, and I want to thank you for joining us this week. I am your host, of course, Kyle Shaw, a.k.a. the Canadian Goose, and on the show this week, it is the former RCW Commonwealth Champion, KB6. How you doing, brother?
Great. Great to be here. It's an honor to be on this podcast.
Well, I'm happy to have you, man.
Thank you for the invite.
Yeah, like we talked a bit about you when I had TY on.
Yeah.
Yeah, because you and TY were partners for a while.
Yes, and he also helped train me as well.
Oh, really?
No. Yeah. So, I'm from Monster Pro Wrestling. That's when I got my whole foot into the door. But the weird part is it was a lot of the wrestlers training the other wrestlers. Like,
okay,
they had their one head trainer there, Massive Damage, but he would tell you how to do the things, but like it was the wrestlers actually teaching and doing things. Jackson, being partnered with him, he taught me a lot in the year and a half that we were together. Just traveling together, working together, training together. He taught me a lot in the business, helped me understand a lot of things, and he helped me do a lot of things that I do now.
Well, that's good that they got some talented folks over there. If that's the way they're gonna do it, because like I can see like if there wasn't any like talented people there, it would just be the blind leading the blind.
Yeah, exactly. Like there was prior to me starting into Monster Pro Wrestling, there were trainers there. Like Irishman, like he trained there. Unfortunately, I never had the chance to really work with them. It was just learning with all the other workers and stuff. And I felt a little bad because, they're there to train themselves. But then you have guys like Kato, who's been in the business over 10 years. There was guys like Mitch Clark, Larry, Rich. We started somewhat similar. I think he started a little bit earlier than me, a few months, but he would understand like the technical aspect of it really well, and he would have helped teach and everything. So yeah, it's very good that they have some really talented workers there, because otherwise,
just for like the listeners' sake, the Mitch that you're talking about is Mitch Clark, who's like a former UFC fighter.
Yes, so former UFC fighter, Mitch Clark.
He should know his way around some technical skills, hopefully.
He knows what he's doing. And then there's also Lumberjack Larry, and then Rugged Rich King, and then T.Y. Jackson, of course. And then Kato, the luchador. Yeah.
So was MPW where you actually like got your start? Because you're from Toronto, aren't you? You didn't do any wrestling out in Toronto?
A month or like 3 weeks before I moved back out here, I seen a flyer when I was just walking through downtown. I seen a flyer, and it was for some superkicks.com. I remember that. And I was looking at it. I was like, man, this is really interesting. And then they're like, a free month of training. I'm like, oh shit, I'm gonna do this. But for when it started, I was leaving 2 days after. So I was like, oh freak. So I came out here, and then I wasn't paying attention to like the wrestling scene and stuff out here. So then I went and worked in a bar, and then during an interview, I met Massive Damage actually. And then he told me they had a school and all this other stuff. And I was like, oh, man, that'd be amazing. Like, so I kept his contact info. I had to move around, do some work and stuff. But then once I got back to Edmonton, I started. The rest of this year, I went, signed up the forums, and just went in that ring.
Who was your first match?
My first match was actually against Kid Cyrus and Kato in a triple threat match.
Oh, okay.
It was at the Italian festival. I ended up going over on Kato.
You got a win
match
in your first match.
Yeah, I know. I was like, what the hell? Like, that's what I was like, man, they must have some high hopes for me or something, like coming in winning. And then I think it was like 2 or 3 weeks later, there's another, because I was at the Italian festival. This one was at the Alberta Avenues for a tag team tournament. So it was me and Jackson, and I ended up getting the win on there as well. But that night I had to work twice. So I got first win, and then the second match I lost.
Oh, okay. Well, I mean, that's still pretty good. Like, I mean, I don't think I won a match for like the first year of my wrestling career.
A lot of people don't.
Yeah.
I was very fortunate for that. I was very appreciative. I made sure after getting that win, I was like, I need to make sure my butt is in the gym and train, and like if I'm getting these kind of opportunities, I need to be able to, show up and do my thing.
100%, right?
But then I also learned last year, would it be last year or the year before, that so you can start up high, but then you can go in through some slopes because I had some wins, and then a few months later, I think it was about like 3 or 4 months later, me and Jackson ended up winning the tag team titles. And then, we were doing our things with that, and that was really nice. Couldn't have a better partner for it. And it was crazy. Is me and Jackson were the first black tag team champions at Monster Pro Wrestling. It was dope because I went and did the history, and there were not a lot of brothers there prior.
I'm trying to think like I'm not even like, and I'm not trying to sound ignorant or anything, but there's not like a whole lot of black wrestlers in Alberta in general.
No.
Like
in wrestling overall, like the ones we have now, like if you look back at the roster prior 2010, you could only probably think of 5 to 10 colored people overall in the business, and at like the major level of WWE. Or if you look at New Japan, you might see one black dude out there. Or ROH, there's a few more. Cause I believe ROH is out based in like Chicago or something. There's a lot of
it's a bit more urban.
Yeah,
like
but like a lot of wrestling, that's one thing growing up I would notice. It's like, I'm like, oh man, like I got 3 guys I can really root. I got The Rock, and then I got Booker T, Taz, but Taz isn't even black. He's just Italian and dark. So like try to like look for the minorities of like, oh yes, that's my hero there. So like, and then you fast forward 10 years, oh my God, it's such a huge difference. There's wrestlers from all over the world making it to the big scene, all different types of religions, races, just everything overall, and that's really great to see.
Yeah, it's cool for
getting
sure.
a lot more shots and chances, and it's not like we don't have to be that token black guy. We don't have to be the black wrestler. We can be a wrestler that's black, and that's one thing that just feels so great about all of this. Having all this different diversity and everything in wrestling nowadays.
Do you have a favorite black wrestler?
Oh, it's The Rock. The Rock.
Yeah, that's a pretty good answer.
Yeah.
Did you watch Young Rock?
Oh, not yet. I'm waiting.
Oh, check that shit out, bro.
I don't like going week by week for shows. I need to wait for it all to be out so I can watch it at once.
See, it was sprung on me. I didn't even know it was a thing until like the day it was on.
Yeah,
and then I just like I saw a commercial. I was like, "Oh, I got to check that out." So I watched the first episode. I thought it was fantastic, and I'm eagerly anticipating episode 2. I'm also
I've heard a lot of good things about it.
I'm also looking forward to a couple hours from now when some more WandaVision goes up.
Oh yes, I'm also waiting for all that to come out because that is not one I can wait week by week.
Oh yeah!
Oh my God!
The first couple episodes, I was confused, but once everything started working out, I was like, "Oh, okay, now I'm really with it, and I'm invested." Getting back to wrestling.
Yeah, wrestling. Yeah.
Have you had any like issues with racism or anything in wrestling? Like,
little bit. It usually comes off. It's a lot more like ignorant jokes or messed up. Like there was one time, I'm not gonna say his name. He used to wrestle for the company when I was at Monster Pro, and then he left. And then there was one time, we're doing ring crew, take it all down just so we can, get out of there real quick. Mm-hmm. And this was we were doing a Southside show. We usually do it at the Alberta Ave. We were doing at Blue Quills or something like that. And one of the wrestlers, or the former wrestler at the promotion, he was like, he's friends with everybody. We all get along. It doesn't matter which promotion we're at. We're all at the same goal.
Yeah, 100%.
And he just one of the tie downs, yeah, they're like bungees, and he whipped me with it, and I was like, he hit me once. I like turned, and I was like, yo, who the fuck is this? And then he was like, I was like, yo, bro, don't whip me, like, because he'll say some like some dark humor jokes, and they were funny, so I'd laugh, and I didn't have a problem with that. But once he like whipped me, I was like, whoa, calm down, buddy, like this, chill out. And he's like, oh no, I'm joking, and I turn and gets me again, and I was like, you need to fuck off. Like, I'm gonna fuck you up. I'm not okay with this. Like, don't whip me. And then he was like, oh, well, I whipped Jackson. It's just a joke. I'm like, bro, it's not a joke. Like, the bungee wrapped around your throat will be a joke. Don't touch me no more. And then he came, apologized after. I told him, all right, man, just don't think you gonna whip a brother and everything's gonna be okay.
So it's sort of the
also,
kind of thing where you just had to lay your boundaries down and
yeah,
make that
there's
clear.
also there's also been like times where like people have just said they tried to perceive it as like a joke, but like I wasn't laughing,
Yeah.
kind of thing. For it was just overall, it just wasn't. It was like, well, what's the point? And then I was really heated. I was gonna come into practice and just lay the smack down on this guy.
Oh,
He's
yeah.
like, I heard it at like the end of like teardown, and then I didn't see him anymore for the rest of the night. And I was like, oh hell no. And then I was like, wait for the next week camp. I'd go and I'm like, once I see his ass, I'm gonna whoop his ass. I'm gonna whoop his ass. And then I sell this to a couple other people, and then one guy, one guy in the company, he's like, oh no, Brad, it's not a big deal. You need to calm down. I was like, no, man, it is a big deal for me. Like, I don't appreciate being called these things, and then it being labeled as a joke. I'm gonna show him what's funny. And then I actually ended up talking to my cousin about it, and he's like, I get it, Brandon. Just talk to him first, and then if you don't apologize, then whoop his ass and make sure it's a real apology. I was like, all right. So I went in there, pulled him to the side, and soon as I pulled him to the side, he just started apologizing and everything, and I was like, I feel bad for whooping his ass now because it's all right, whatever. I was like, don't do it again, and then he hasn't done it again since. So it's a lot of times there'll be a little bit of hazing, but through I played a lot of team sports, and I don't like hazing. I don't agree with it, and I make sure people don't haze me.
Yeah, that's when people kind of like just like
That that's
shitty
when
things to people to try and like initiate you and stuff.
exactly like you don't want to like don't initiate because then we can just take it outside the ring. We can be gentlemen and go talk or handle it ourselves. More of that. I don't believe in hazing, treating people bad just because they're new to something. Like, no, I can get it in some circumstances for like, building the ring, you'd be like, hey, come on, grab this. And then, wow, you're still carrying it. Like playing on the team sports, it would be like, oh, rookies carry the bags. I'd be like, hell no, you carrying your own bags, bro. No. If it's like harmless and it doesn't mess with the other person or demean them, then I can kind of deal with those kind of things. But overall, if it's gonna make that person miserable and showing up, no, I'm not dealing with it.
Yeah, I mean,
because the last thing I
there's
want to do is be miserable coming to my workplace.
yeah, there's a big difference between would you mind helping me out with my bag here versus hey greenhorn get my bag,
Yeah,
like
I'll be like, oh brother, like if you say that to me, it's just where I come from. You got to be able to throw some hands, or like you gonna try to talk down to me, bro. We're gonna have to handle it, like something like that. I'm more like you can't boss me around because I ain't gonna be bossed around, bro. Like it's not gonna work.
that's fair.
Yeah, so like things like I haven't really had to deal with a whole lot of it. There's just certain incidents or like people cracking the little side jokes, and I just and other times where like me and Jackson like we'll be chilling and like we'll hear somebody say something ignorant and we just like look at each other and he'll give you a look. He's like, Brad, just chill out. It ain't worth it. This ain't the moment. I'm like, all right. You say one more thing though. And he'll be like, all right. He said one more thing. And then usually he'll calm down. Which that's another thing I liked having Jackson around for is he was a nice cool head.
He seemed like a really good guy when I had him on the show.
Oh, he's a great kid.
He was like that was before COVID, so he was able to come to the house and We sat down and did the thing in person and whatnot. And I always love when we do those out of town shows like Pinoca, Radway, and we always get a couple of the MPW guys on the show because I really like those guys.
That's one thing I learned. So with I don't want to really shit on him much, but Massive Damage getting into the business, he instilled an idea that every locker room is against you. He made it seem like every other wrestler I was going to meet was going to be an asshole for the most part. He made the RCW locker rooms sound villainous as hell. Oh my God. But then at the end of the day, like when you go to other locker rooms, you meet all the other guys, we're all really the same when you think about it. Like, doesn't matter, what the beliefs are or anything. We're all here because we love the business. We want to be here. And, what would be the point of just hating somebody else from another promotion? Every time you see somebody, like, unless the person's just a dick, like, you can't be like, oh, that guy's definitely from this promotion, they're always assholes, or, things like that. It's just like, yeah, we're all men trying to, like, make it, and we have a love for this
There's
business.
all kinds in every locker room. Like,
yeah,
every locker room is going to have assholes in it, and every locker room is going to have, like, really good people in it that you would, like, never consider to be a dickhead at all,
Exactly. Like, it's, the locker rooms are always changing, and there's always going to be an asshole around. Doesn't matter where you go. Like, whether you can go to the grocery store, you're going to run into an asshole. Like, they're always going to be the people. But the whole lot, but like just the one bad apple doesn't speak for the rest of them in a sense. Each company usually has about like 20 people on the roster. You might have two jerks on that team, but everybody else are usually really good people. Very safe to work with. Like, I haven't had any issues I haven't had any issues with any workers at RCW. Like, every worker that I've run into has been fine. Like, I've been at least, I feel that way. I always shake hands, get hands shaken, talk to the people. I don't feel like I'm ostracized or, like, even in the RCW locker room, like, there's never been any wrestlers that have hazed me or said any racial jokes or anything like that. Like, it's always been good, Any even slight dark humor, edgy jokes, you're usually hilarious. I'm laughing off my ass. Like, I'm very blessed to be at the RCW locker room and be part of this company.
Yeah. So, I mean, I guess it would be talking about it now. It would be apropos of us to discuss. I mean, why you left MPW.
Oh, I'll discuss it. I don't mind. I'll talk about that.
Do you have? Yeah. Would you like to publicly? You know what I'm trying to say is.
I'll publicly talk about it. I got no problem.
Okay. All right.
Because I talked about one other time, but that podcast was taken down. So I was out on the Northern tour with Tony Candello, and me and Phoenix, we got into some arguments. Now, I don't like yell or get into other workers' faces or things like that. But I don't. Also, I'm trying to say, I'm trying not to like shit on anybody's name and stuff. But at the same time, I don't want to say things that didn't happen. Or I should say that. But I don't want to like shit on people. But at the same time, I don't want people to they're not the saints you may think they are. But she was irritating multiple people on the tour, to in fact that the other female worker refused to work with her. She was like, I'm not doing it. There's issues every night with either somebody or something. There's a lot of drama, and when you're on these tours where you're out in the middle of nowhere and you're in a tight core group, morality is key. And you can tell, everything would be good, and then, she would kind of walk in the room, and the whole energy would shift. And then she would just be like, oh, why are you talking about me? And I'm like, well, we're not talking about you. I was talking about something else. And she would just, just different things. And then she ended up accusing me of taking money from Tony Candello because I was working behind the desk at the merch. But when you're back there, Tony tells you you're responsible for the money that's missing, like if there's money missing. And then one of the kids ended up like stealing a couple masks. So that was like $40. I was back there. I didn't know. I take responsibility if I'm back there and something goes missing. I understand that's it's got to come up with pay or something. That was just a little kind of price he had for when you will sell your merch. And so we're out on tour, and like she's been complaining constantly and just trying to say that like she was short money, and then accused me of stealing money. And then like I called her out on everything in front of Tony, and then everything, like she was trying to say something about her pictures. Something happened where it was like the count or something, and then she was trying to say, Tony asked her, he's like, oh, did you count in front of my helper here, and like did you verify? She was like, yeah, I did. And I was like, no. I'm like, Tony, she gave the pictures to me, because I went around and made sure everyone had a good space on the merch table, because I feel that's very important. Everybody gets a day or 2 days where they're in the best spot, and everyone rotates around. So I always make sure I get everybody's pictures early, help set up the merch table. I'm trying to make us all money and make this go smooth. Yeah. Because I've been on tour where people are like kind of corrupt and screwing things over. So I want it even. So I was like, if I take control, I can make sure it's fair game. Everyone gets good pictures, good positions. And when I told her, or told Tony, that I was like, no, I took the pictures, she just grabbed the money and walked away, and then called me a liar. I was like, bitch. And then, I was like, you know what? I have a show in a couple hours. Let me just go eat some food, relax, go stretch, go do something. Let me just de-stress. Yeah. Because this is like the first week out of like 20 days we're going to be out there. I don't want to deal with all this. So, I'm just trying to, I had to walk back, and I had to go by the bathroom, and I had to go by her. And I snuck by her like to get there. So I'm like, I don't want to deal with any of this. And I come back, and she's sitting there on the phone. And then I don't know, she was talking to somebody, and she's just like, I hate it here. And then looked at me, and she's like, I hate everyone here. Me being a smart ass, I just turned back, and I was like, bitch, ain't nobody like you here either. And I just walked away. I was like, save my life, I'm gonna walk away. I was like, if you go, just don't look me in the eyes and say that. So I started walking away, and she comes, and then she starts talking about how terrible a wrestler I am, how I don't know psychology, I'll never make it in the business, I don't know anything about the business.
Isn't she like 15 years old?
I think she's like 19 now. She claims she started in the business.
Sorry, and I'm not trying to bury her either. I don't know her personally. I don't think I've ever even spoke to her. I just I mean,
a lot of people that see her do think she's like 15 years old. She's a very small, child-looking person. And then, so she's yelling all these things at me. And I snap back. I yell all these things back at her. I bring up things in her personal life.
Oh, boy.
I talk about how terrible she really is at wrestling. She's wrestled for about 3 years, and I think maybe has wrestled 10 opponents. For 2 years.
We're not here to bury her.
Yeah. No. Thank you for keeping track. Yeah. So I was going off on her, and then I'm trying to walk away again, and then Massive Damage comes out at like the end, and he's like, hey, stop yelling, blah blah blah. And then I was like, all right, whatever. And then at the end of the show, he wanted me to apologize to her. I was like, no. I was like, she started it. Like, I'm not doing it. I was like, hell no. And he's like, come on. Like, he's like, you got to be, be the bigger person. I was like, bro, she's literally started all of it. I tried walking away, and she yelled. And then, he's like, oh, who's the bigger who's either the bigger person, the 22-year-old or the 19-year-old? I was like, nigga, the one in the wrong. Like, I'm not, no. And then, like, I left, and then the other wrestlers that seen everything go down, I looked, I was like, because I was like, maybe I'm just really upset, and I'm just being an asshole. I looked, I was like, guys, like, should I apologize? And I don't want to mention names, but, like, I'd say one of the nicest dudes on tour, he looked at me and was like, hell no. You didn't do anything wrong. I was like, that's what I thought. Hell no, I ain't apologizing. So then, went back, rest of the tour, and it was from then on, there were days where I wasn't working. We were already short people because one of the people, one of the wrestlers, he was a midget, and he was he was very older, so he couldn't actually like do stuff.
Okay.
And then we also have the two females that won't work with each other now. So like everything's jumbled. And then we
So
had like an odd person.
are the girls wrestling guys now and the midgets
Yes,
wrestling
yes.
Okay.
So the midget actually only came out. He never actually like worked, like wrestled. Like
So he was like
he
a
more,
manager or something?
yeah, he dressed up as like the clown, and he would come out and like middle of the match and be like a baby face. It was very weird. I was like, kids are crying, and he's supposed to be a good guy. And I was out there, and my role for some of the nights is I would come out and lift him and like lift him onto the ring and then stand out there and help cheer Phoenix on and like help her get over and like be the manager. I was like, what the hell? I could work. Like, what is this? He's like, oh no, you know. And then there was one day where like I was sick. I was really glad I wasn't working. He's like, oh no, yeah, you know, we'll just need you for the Rumble. I was like, all right, perfect. Because we were traveling. I think this day we were on the road for like 12 hours. I just wanted to puke. I got road sickness bad.
Oh no.
And then like every night it would either be I'm not working or I'm losing. And then like Tony Cadella that day, he's like, yeah, I was like, are you not a match? I was like, no, bro. Like,
did you talk to Tony? Like, is Tony not booking this or?
No. So Bookie, I mean, he had Massive Damage do all the booking and everything.
Oh,
like,
okay. So Massive was hot at you because of your interaction with Phoenix.
With Phoenix, yes.
And so he stopped giving you opportunities.
Yes.
To punish you.
Yeah, he wouldn't let me go work. I would just be in the Rumble. And fun fact. Even as a villain in the Rumble, I still sold the most amount of merch. Every single night, I sold the most amount. Huh. And I was like, and even with that, I was like I knew in my mind, I was like, this bitch was wrong trying to say I'm not a good wrestler. I'm not over. I was like, this is crazy. And so I ended up hurting my ankle one night during the Rumble because it was the other female worker, she was going over. And like at the end of the Rumble, there's like 3 guys and they're all villains, and then the one girl. And like it was, so I wanted to make like a good pop. So when she threw me over, I jumped over. I've never I went flying, and I landed right in front of these girls where they're all booing me and stuff. I was like, this is gonna be a beautiful moment. So I fly over, but when I land, I didn't land right. I landed on my ankle like little iffy. And I didn't notice it till teardown. Like, we took the whole ring down.
That's how it happens, but
I was wearing down. I'm like, what the fuck? I'm like, why does my ankle feel like this? Because even earlier in the day, I felt like a random pain shoot through it. Because, like, you're in a truck for, like, 10 to 12 hours. Yeah. And so, like, you can't really move. And then, like, going through, and I felt like a little shoot. I'm like, nah, it's nothing. Yeah, you know, it'll be good. I did that, and then I was like, God damn. Each piece just getting worse and worse. And then at the end, it was just like a crate left, and I'm just struggling. I'm like, I can't take this in. Y'all gotta help me. I like sat on a chair in like the middle of the gym for like 20 minutes. I'm like, I don't know what I'm gonna do. How am I gonna shower? I gotta work still. So I was like, all right, you know what? Just the next day will be good. You know, just wrap it up. Take some Advil, some Tylenol, sleep it off. You'll be good.
Yeah.
Next day, it was a little iffy. I could kind of walk on it. But I didn't want to, because I think we had 6 days left.
Yeah.
And I didn't want to mess it up this day and not be able to wrestle the other days. So I pulled Tony aside. I told him what was going on. Because first he pulled me aside, asked me if my ankle was okay. Because I was doing ring crew, and he's like, no, come chill, sit down. And I was like, all right. So I told him what happened. I was like, you know, I honestly hate to ask. I'm not this type of person. But I can do the Rumble. Because I know I can give myself a 5-minute spot, be first one out and get through.
Yeah.
But so I was like, yo, can I just not work this one match and then do the Rumble? You know, I can do the emceeing and help you out, do all that all night. He's like, he said normally he wouldn't really want to do that, but he's like, if I can do it safely, and he was a fan of me, so I was like, all right, perfect, I'll do it.
So he didn't even want you in the Rumble.
No, he did not. He was like, you're going to hurt yourself more. And I was like, Tony, I'm not going to, if everything goes according to plan, why aren't you fucking wrestling?
I'm happy for you that he wasn't like, well, no, fuck you. You better work tonight. Like,
yeah, that's Tony is like, some people can tell some stories. Tony is a straight up guy. Like, he understands. Like, everything was like cool. So I was like, all right, perfect, thank you. And then so they didn't put any like time or weights on the cards, so I kind of just wigged it, and I it was an exaggeration. Everyone came at a wild number, and I kept going because like the kids loved it. Like I announced like some people like 300 pounds, 86 pounds. It was a very wide spectrum. Nobody was near the weight that they were given. It was either too much or too little.
Oh, like the ring announcer who was announcing the weights was getting them all
Yeah,
wrong?
that was me. Yes, they didn't write it down, so I just said, "Fuck it," and I just went with it because like I wasn't
You
trying
were
to be
ring
like.
announcing.
Yes, yeah, I was.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
so I
I didn't know you'd ever ring announced before. How did you enjoy it? Did you like it?
I'm an amazing ring announcer. Oh my god.
Oh,
Oh
wow.
my god.
I'm glad you don't work out
it was
here
just
in
smooth.
Alberta. You'd be
Take your
in
job.
competition. Yeah.
Announce myself to the ring. But no, so yeah, so me helping him do that, dealing with the merch table, and then going in the Rumble, I was, I was in his good books.
Yeah.
I'm like when I was like doing the weights, I wasn't trying to be malicious or hurt anybody's feelings.
You're just kidding
I was
around.
joking. So the wrestlers, when they came out, they're trying not to smile or like laugh at like what I'm doing.
Yeah.
The kids were loving it. Some of the adults, everyone had a smile on their face, so I kept going with it. There were two people who were upset by it. I'm not gonna mention the first guy's name because he told me how he's insecure about his body and things like that. I was like, okay, man, I apologize. I explained, it was just a joke. I, didn't mean to go malicious at him.
Yeah.
He said he felt that way. He just wanted to voice his concerns, and I said, I appreciate it. I'm very sorry. It'll never happen again. Because like that's. Again, like when I say like I don't like the hazing, like the little bit of hazing where it's like, okay, the jokes, but like once you realize somebody's upset at what you're doing, you got to stop what you're doing.
Yeah.
And I want to keep the morality and everything up. I was like, okay, sorry, blah blah blah. We shook hands, everything was good. And then Tony came, he talked to me. He told me, he's like, don't do that. You piss people off. Just what the hell's going on? I was like, all right, my bad.
I mean, I can see
he
I
got
know
a little promo on me.
when I was ring announcing, like most people would always I'd always have their weights, but once in a while, like it just for whatever reason slips through the cracks and you don't have the guy's weight and you just have to guess. Like, like they're walking to the ring and I've straight up been like, oh, he looks like he's probably about 230 pounds, so that's what I announce him. Like
that's fair, but like you probably like trying to figure it out more. While me, I was.
Yeah, I wasn't doing. It wasn't
500 pounds.
No, it wasn't ridiculous stuff. I wouldn't make ridiculous claims like, oh, homeboy's like,
yeah.
Oh, he was 3 tons.
Yeah, but
maybe
so
squig.
Maybe. Yeah. So like I'm just there, and then he gets the promo and stuff on me. I was like, okay, my bad. We shook hands. Me and Tony shook hands. I told him, I'll be way more professional about it. I'm sorry. I just went with the crowd. They were liking it.
Yeah.
And then I thought, I'm thinking that's the end of it. I looked over, and Mass Damn, he was upset for like the last couple days. So I was like, okay. I seen him off in the corner, just chilling there, doing his thing. I was like, all right, I didn't know I upsetted him because like he would be one person that has said a lot of racial jokes, and I'll put jokes in quotations because they were never funny. I would fake laugh just so I didn't get the belt taken from me and things like that. So with him, I figured he would be able to take the joke. He dishes out like some messed up jokes quotations. So I'm like, yo, if you dish it out, you gotta be able to take it. You know what? Like if you talk a joke about someone, somebody gonna talk a joke. Like
it's
that's
also like
no.
If you're the promoter, it might be in your best interest not to to avoid those kind of but
there's at the same time it's.
I mean, I don't know. I wasn't there. It's just. Yeah, just like
I mean, you would think
you would be smarter. Like it's 2000 and even at that point, it's well past the age where racist jokes are kind of acceptable.
Exactly. So like I didn't think he got upset about it. So I get up there, I MC everybody, and then I come out like last, and then I'm I'm on one leg, like hobbling, but like I'm like hopping my way there, but like I have my tassels on, and my jacket tassels, everything. So like I was twisting my upper body, so like the kids were just looking at my tassels. They couldn't realize I was on one foot.
Yeah.
So I get in the ring, and then like I realized, like, I'm like, this was not the best idea. Like, I'm grabbing the ropes, and like the adults definitely knew there was something wrong with me in that ring.
Okay.
So I talked to a couple guys. I was gonna go get one guy, and then somebody else come dump me. I was like, this is gonna be perfect. I get like 5 minutes. I can still do a little show. The kids will be happy. First one to eliminate. I'm fine with that. I see Massiva, across the ring from me. I was looking at him. I was like, man, this man is a character. He looks like he's gonna rip the head off everybody in here. So my dumb ass, I start flexing across at him. I'm like, what you got? I'm way stronger than you. You just ugly. I'm like, and then he didn't say nothing. He just stared at me, chilling in the corner, leaning. I was like, I'm like, something's wrong. My spidey sense started tingling. I was like, this ain't right. And then so I flex one more time. I'm like, yeah. So I get the kids. I do a big flex. I'm like, what do you got? I'm thinking he's gonna flex off or something. He just looks at me. He's like, 450 fucking chops. Because I announced him at 450 pounds. So this was his way of saying he a little butthurt and got a little upset. He's a little sensitive off that.
Oh, okay.
So I was like, as soon as he said 450 shots, I was like, he butthurt. I got to get up quick. As soon as the bell rang, I couldn't run. I'll show him my best. I've never seen Massive run before. It was a very horrifying scene. He's a big boy. So he starts running at me. I'm trying to like run across. I got like 2 steps out. He grabbed me, threw me in the corner, fucking lays all the chops in. I'm like, all right, I guess there's gonna be a chop off. And so like I start giving him some overhands. I'm just going ham on him. But then I realized, so Massive, he started doing this like the last year of me working with the company. Underneath his singlet, he wears like this girdle to like keep him looking thin, and it has like a 1/2 inch of padding on it. So like that's what I'm chopping. I'm going in, trying to lay it all in, and there was nothing. He just stands there, and I look, and I'm like, like my hand hit the zipper a couple times. I was like, what the hell? Like, why? You're a grown man wearing a girdle padding. Like, bro, what are you doing? And then so like, as soon as I give him a bunch of chops there, he just grabs me, gives me more, and then I start giving him some forearms. And then he's like, is that what you got? I was like, oh, motherfucker. And then he gets me in the court, gives me some more. I was like, all right, like,
so did this break down into like a shoot? Is that
this wasn't? Yeah. As soon as that bell rang, he turned this into a shoot. Like when he gave me those chops, I was like, all right, I gotta give him some good ones. And then I laid them in. I gave him everything. But that pad, I was like, oh god, that pad saved him. And then he's giving me forearms, and then like grabs the back of my neck, starts like giving me some. I break out of that. I grab him from the back, and I'm just saying, fuck it, I'm gonna knock his ass out at this point. I cup the back of his head. I'll go give him an elbow, and mine just crumbled. I threw all the weight. I forgot my leg was messed up. I crumbled. I fall to my knees. I'm at his waist, and this is him coming into the business. He was my trainer. He was my mentor. Mm-hmm. I worked with him, so he was. I worked with him for a while. He was my boss. He was. Outside of wrestling, we were friends. Like, if there is somebody where I trusted when I'm hurt, even if we were both angry at each other, to like be able to be like, okay, get him out, it would be him. So I'm down, and then when it shot, like the pain shot up through my shin. So I dropped down, and I couldn't put any weight on. So I hold him, and I'm like, yo, my ankle's fucked, get me out. This motherfucker grabbed me back of the neck, just started chopping me on my back, and then kicks me down, and I'm on the ground. He just puts his boot and just starts stomping on my head. So I'm just having to push it off. He's just going, and he grabs me. He's like, "You want to get the fuck out?" Throws me out, and then just like the way I had it planned before, I had it easier where I was basically it'd be a slow push out and a bump.
Yeah.
He just tossed me out, and it's either laying on your feet or you going face plant. So I landed on my feet. Landed on my bad ankle. I dropped down.
Yeah.
Referee Justin Garber, God rest his soul, he tries to pick me up. He's he's a great spirit, but
he's just pretty small little guy.
He's pretty small. He's a skin and bones, man. And he tried to pick up my fat ass. So I was a thick boy at the time. I was like 238. He tried to get me up, and he's like, he's like, do you need help up? I was like, nah, I got this. I took half a step. I drop. And then the kids, they're like, are you okay? Are you okay? Like, the kids.
Did you have a broken ankle?
No. It was just a big severe sprain.
Oh.
It was I've had rolled ankles, sprained ankles from like football and basketball, but this was probably the worst.
Yeah. Ankle injuries are brutal. I broke my ankle in a match with heavy metal.
And then you also wrestled on it.
The next day.
Tough
yeah.
Bastard. I couldn't do that. Oh my God. I couldn't even do it a sprain.
I mean, I didn't know it was broken. And I was like, and
to get through that pain though, that's not something everybody can do. I don't think I can do it.
No,
I'll be sure you.
But it's like,
I feel I'm a tough guy, but I can't do that.
Like you described earlier, you didn't feel the pain immediately. Like
no, I didn't.
When I broke my ankle, like we continued wrestling for another 5 minutes. And I didn't feel anything, and it was all fine. And then like it was like later on that night, I was like, "Oh shit, this sucks." And then the next day, it was like, "Oh, I can't walk on this." And then I got to the show, and I was limping, and then
wrestling.
It's like, "Oh, I guess I got to take a bunch of like Tylenols now just to try and dull this pain enough so I can get through this." And yeah, so. It was a thing. So you ended up hurting your ankle real bad.
Oh yes. So yeah, he ended up somewhat carrying me, but like he was still struggling, and like I had my full weight on him, and so there's no barricades or anything. So like the kids, they're like trying to they're grabbing me by like my tights and trying to keep me up. I just started grabbing the top of their heads like I was like it was a cane and using their tiny bodies like to get me through. I was like, get the fuck out! As soon as I got back behind the curtains. Mm-hmm. I don't even think I made it a step. I just collapsed, crawled over. Like people had to walk over me to get back. Yeah. A lot of people. I was like Tony. He was very upset. He was like, "What the fuck's going on? This is why I didn't want you to wrestle. I didn't want you to get hurt." I was like, "Man, everything will have been good. Talk to your boy." Like he messed up the game plan. And then I'm down on the ground, and then I was very close to tears in that moment. Like there's a lot of pain just shooting because it was just the throbbing and just everything. And so the one person that was upset about me for me announcing the weights, he actually came. He helped me take everything off because he said if we go to the hospital, they're going to cut everything off.
Yeah.
I only have 1 cent and it's expensive.
Yeah.
So he had to take off my shin pad and then or my kick pad.
Yeah.
Hold that off, and then I had my foot was taped, so he had to take the tape off, undo the shoelace, and then underneath was also taped. So then he had to take that off so then he can actually get a look at it. It didn't. Thank God, it didn't turn purple or anything quite yet. Like it did, like later, like on the end of the tour, there's like a slight little tinge to it. Mm-hmm. But what scared me is when it turned a little yellow. And as a black man, my skin has never turned yellow. So that worried me. Because like purple, you're like, okay, this bruised. Red, that's a little bad. Yellow, I didn't know what the hell that meant.
Yeah.
I was like, oh my God, I was really freaking out. And then it would go up my leg and stuff, and I couldn't. And then when we're in the trucks, your foot's just down on the ground. You can't elevate it, so you can't heal. So then it's just pain constantly. After even as I was laying down, he took everything off. I started biting down. I didn't even realize my cheeks they stopped. They're like, "Brandon, stop!" I was like, "What?" And then there was this blood dripping from my mouth. So Lumberjack Larry gave me an apple to bite on. That lasted 2 seconds. I bit through that 2 chunks, spat it out. I took a towel, I just wrapped it in my mouth. I said, "We're ripping this all off right now." One of the most painful moments, definitely in a long time. That was not fun. But there was no. And then when I got back and got checked out, there's no long-term injury.
When Massive comes through the curtain, does he apologize or
no? So what Massive did is he just walked over me, grabbed his gear, and left. Because we were in a classroom, we were in a school, and then it led right to the gym.
clearly you felt like he took liberties with you.
Oh, 100%,
And
100%.
is that like a feeling like were the other wrestlers there that saw this go down? Like were they thinking,
Oh yeah,
that wasn't
yes,
a cool
yes. There
situation
was,
either?
yeah, there was because like he also took his anger out on another wrestler because there's one worker there that during every rumble he'd yell out butt kicking party and he would kick everybody in the butt. I don't really like calling these spots, but that was hilarious and the kids loved it. And he was babyface. Oh, yo, it's perfect. He did that and he did it the massive brought him in the corner and chopped the hell out of him. And I after that whole situation, I was injured. I'm laying down. I had some non-healthy thoughts going through my head, some cynical things, and then some workers that talked me out of this thing, calmed me down a lot. So I was like, all right, Brandon, we don't want you going to jail. I was like, I can get away with it. But Brandon, calm the fuck down. Like, chill out, get some sleep.
Yeah, it's too bad that it came to that. It's like
I was like, man, it was very rough. The work. I'm so grateful for everyone that was on the tour there, from helping me out. The female worker, she went off and she cooked my dinner for me. A couple of the other guys, they went help me get into the shower. I got in there. I was like, hey guys, just give me this chair, and I'll be good. Let me do the rest from here, please. And then they caught me trying I don't want to say walking, but I was using the chair as a walker, trying to get through the gym. They're like, "Man, something fucking idiot, come here."
Yeah, I can see Lumberjack Larry being knocking off.
Lumberjack. He was one of the best. He was one of my best friends on that tour. He helped me out so much.
Yeah.
So everyone there was very supportive, very helped me out. So I was very blessed in that moment. I was still really upset, and I did feel very betrayed. Because I was like, "What? Why? What the fuck? This is so no." And then I realized that night, I told a bunch of the workers back in Edmonton what was going on and stuff, because it seems that there was a bit of a similar pattern that whenever a worker would leave, it was always on them, and they were a piece of shit, and there was nothing else. But then you talk to the worker and you find out the rest of the story. There's always three sides to the story. There's his side, the other guy's side, the truth,
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what, let me get my side. He's going to say their fucking side. And the rest of the workers, they'll know the truth because they see it without any biased opinion. And so I went, blah, blah, blah. Oh, so yeah, I went on Facebook that night. I was telling all the workers. And then, well, not all the workers, but my homies kind of thing.
Yeah.
Everyone has their little core group, and I was telling them what's going on. Some people were just telling me sleep when you get back. I was like, man, I got planned. I was gonna stay for a little bit and then finish up a little bit of storylines, not for the company, but more for the fans, because I feel the fans, they deserve it.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing this for. We're trying to make money and we're trying to please the fans. That's our two goals.
If you were involved with TY and stuff, you don't want to leave him hanging.
Yeah, exactly. And I was in a feud with him and everything. We had our storyline and we wanted it for a long time. Built up to it, and it was from. So yeah, I messaged him and I realized I wasn't on the worker page anymore. Oh. I was like, what the fuck? I was like, this is weird. So then the next day, we roll out, and then we actually almost go through the ice lakes because there's a wrong turn, and I just woke up, and then we were skidding around, and the van behind us gets put into the water. I was like, what the fuck? And yeah,
Did anybody get hurt?
No, thank God. Nobody got hurt. Nobody's gear got destroyed. And they end up getting the van out.
Oh, good.
Because it was the front half. And then with our truck, we went off and found the RCMP, we got RCMP, and we found some other people, and then they ended up getting everything out, and everything was good. And as we're getting gas and stuff, Master came up. I think he came up. He's after everything that happened today, I just want to say I'm sorry. I shouldn't have did that. I understand if you want to leave. I was like,
Yeah.
I'm like. I didn't truly I don't accept this apology. But in the moment, I was like, it doesn't take a lot to apologize. I told him that. And then I told him I'm not leaving. I'm not gonna leave. I wasn't gonna leave yet. I was just gonna when I did leave, I wasn't gonna tell him, and it was gonna be a huge surprise and a big thing. But But yeah, after that, I was like, all right, whatever. So I messaged one of the admins for the group, and I was like, yeah, how about you, me and Sean, everything's good. Just add me back. And then rest of the tour, everything was fine. It was a very awkward ride home because I was talking to Larry. I was just gonna ask if he wanted to rent a car, or I was just gonna fly out. 'Cause I didn't want to, because we had to stop at Sean's mom and spend the night, and those dogs piss all over the carpet and all over the couches and stuff. I did not want to be there. It was not fun. So like that night, I actually just stayed in the truck and smoked weed all night long. And then, but what sucked is, there wasn't a lot of space in the vehicle, and my ankle was killing me. So like, it wasn't until I think like 8 hours left in the drive, I asked to like sit in front. He made a bit of a deal about it, but I was like, bro, I'm fucking hurt. Like, I just need the room. And then he's like, oh, fine, whatever. And then it's also, all right, man. Because I talked to Larry, and Larry's the vet. I was like, do you mind? And he's like, I don't care. Go, like, sit in the front. Like, go ahead. Like, Larry was very, he was very supportive, wanted me to, like, my foot to be better. Yeah. He even left out of the truck that we were in just so I could put my foot up on the other seats. But then somebody else ended up moving in.
Like, every time I see him and
he
realize,
he's
sharing
one of the
a locker room, it makes me very happy.
Oh man, it's a great spirit, man. He's whenever things are down, like he'll crack a joke, and you're just like, God damn it! Like you'll just, having him on tour, it was great. Because like I said, the key is that for his morality. There's always also Bobby Shink was on tour. He was very chill and very hilarious as well. So it was a very good tour.
So once you guys got back to Edmonton, then what happened?
Yeah, so I took 2 weeks off because my ankle. I wasn't going to practice. Actually, Squigs wanted me to do some RCW shows. I told him, I was like, I can barely walk. I'm not doing a match, bro.
Yeah.
And then when I did, so it was about 2.5 weeks because it was we got back on the weekend. It was on a Wednesday when I was going to go to practice. So I put in the group, I was like, hey guys, I can't get a ride to practice. If anybody can pick me up, I got gas money. Here's my address, blah, blah, blah. Please and thank you. Mm-hmm. And I've done it before, so everything is fine. About 30 minutes later, Massive has one of the students message me, and he's like, hey bro, I hate to do this, but Massive just told me to tell you that you're not welcome back at MPW, and that he's mad at me for adding you back into the group, into the Facebook group. I'm really sorry to tell you this, and I feel bad. I just told him, I was like, listen, you have nothing to apologize. Massive wasn't, he obviously didn't have the balls to tell me himself. He took the coward's way out and had one of the students that works the hardest and will do whatever he wants because he's that type of guy that he'll go above and beyond. And it's like, he'll help the boss out and he'll fucking do his thing. He's easily one of the hardest workers there. He's first one at camp, last one to leave. I've never been to practice and not seen him. Ring crew, he's out there, he's busting his butt. So that he had him do it, and I lost all my respect for Massive for everything that happened on tour, and then the fact that he couldn't be a man and just message me, hey, you're fired, I'm done with you. I would have respected that, but he took his little coward way out, had this worker message me. I told him, I was like, all right, well, thank you for everything, that we've done. I really hope I get to see you and work with you another time. Never apologize, because you're not in the wrong here. He put you in this position, and I'm sorry you have to deal with this. And I really hope all the workers do great. I waited until I knew he would be on the road to put my goodbye message. I put my goodbye message in the worker page at 9:08 because I knew he leaves practice at 9, so then he would be on the road. So I put my goodbyes up there, and then it was within a half hour of me getting released, I contacted Swigs and I got hired. I wasn't stressed about it because I was like, I planned to leave anyways, and I was like, and it's hilarious because all this happened when I was on the toilet taking the dump. I got fired and rehired all right, fired and hired before I even wet my own ass. It was so quick. It was like boom, boom. I was like, all right, that happens. I was like, what the hell? It was the most confusing poop I've ever taken. Like I was like, what is going on? My whole life just changed.
That is a heck of a story, brother. I asked you, why did you leave MPW? And I was expecting you to give me like, I had irreconcilable differences with the promoter. But now, like, we've gone 50 minutes, and a good 45 of that was spent on. Boy,
yeah, man. Anytime, like. I'd love to find a quick way to tell people this, because every time I meet someone in the locker room and then they're like, oh, so I heard you used to work there. I was like, yeah, why'd you leave? How much time you got, brother? Like, I just got to break it down. All right, this happened, led to this, because it's not just the one thing that stopped. It was just the whole continuations, because it's one thing that, there's certain people at MPW that for some reason they can never be in the wrong. There's like this weird Addams family that Massive Damage has, where it's this odd family. It's like, yeah, like I said before, I'm not trying to bury anybody, but at the same time, I'm not gonna make anyone else be a saint when they're not a saint.
Yeah, and I have to make it clear from my perspective.
Oh, 100%. Yeah,
like the views expressed here by KB6 are his views, and
and not yours.
Not
yours.
mine.
He's never even hung out, met the girl.
No, I don't think I've met Phoenix. And the most I've ever met Massive Damage was like shaking his hand once and saying, "Hi, I'm Kyle." And so I don't know these people and whatnot.
Yeah.
And I do want to say that if you're listening to this, please don't think that Brandon's poor experience is a reflection of MPW. Like, go there, watch their show. Like, they've got some great entertainers there.
They have some great workers.
It's a very quality product and worth the value that you'll pay for your ticket. So
they have, like, with MPW, I don't have a problem with the workers.
Yeah,
it's just the one guy up top. That's it.
Yeah,
and everyone in the locker room, they were always great guys. They were very supportive. Again, there's a random asshole or two, but you're finding that everywhere.
Yeah, I mean, it is one of those things. Like, you have to think, like, there was a lot of people that sort of migrated away from there. In the last year. Irish, Parrish went back, but there was you, Nate.
Cato.
Yeah, Cato.
Shawn Martins.
Kevin the ref. Like a lot of people, Ben the ref.
Yeah.
I mean, I think, and this is not to disparage MPW at all, but I do kind of see them as sort of like the farm league to the rest of Alberta wrestling.
They are a great starting spot. Yeah. I'll say that. Like, if you're, if you have no idea,
and I don't say that to insult them at all. And they do have some amazing pros there, like Mitch and Rich,
and Larry
and those guys, like
T.Y. Jackson.
For sure,
like they have some great workers there.
Yeah,
100%. Very talented locker room. The locker room, they have nothing but my respect. And if you guys listening, I always respect you. You guys always you put 100%, man. Y'all kick ass. No hate on you guys at all.
So with you coming and jumping over to RCW, and can you describe like the feeling of like being a part of our locker room, and like was it a refreshing experience? Or
I will say I was extremely nervous the first two times when I first went to the Calgary and the first time going into the Edmonton. I was so nervous. I didn't know how people were, because I've been in the RCW locker room when I was at MPW a couple times, but I was there with other MPW guys. So, like, going in new promotion by yourself, I was like, this is... But then it was like maybe 5-10 minutes in, I was like, I felt very comfortable, because just everyone I was meeting, I was like, everyone's... They're cool people. They're chill people. Like,
who did you can go wrestle in your RCW debut?
And my first one... my very first RCW match would be Heavy Metal.
Oh, well,
yeah, I mean, that's
January. That's a good person to start with.
Yeah, that was that was one of the biggest milestones that in my career, even still today. It was the first time coming in working at a promotion with somebody I've never worked before. Like I've seen a couple of his things here and there.
Mm-hmm.
It was a title match. It was main event. I was like, this is a town I've never been in. I never even heard Radway before.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh wait, actually no, my first match was in Panoka. Shit. But it was with an MPW worker. So I don't really want to count that because it's like,
Okay.
But the the one where I would say first time wrestling an RCW wrestler, like that would be against Heavy Metal.
Yeah.
And then after that, in Calgary, being officially part of the roster, I was in a 6-man with Cheetah Bear and was
that Maverick Jack in that? And
yeah. We fought Maverick Jack
Katie?
and Shawn Martins. Yeah, Katie and Paige. Yeah, we fought. Yeah, so 6-man.
Six person.
Six person. Yeah, 6 person. And then the next night I was in a tag with Marky versus Son of Irish and Knight. I can't remember. Chris Knight or something like that.
His name's just Knight.
Just Knight? Okay.
Yeah. Well, not just like his name is Knight.
Oh, okay.
Knight.
Yeah. But yeah, so I wrestled them, and from after that match, like we went into lockdown after like our first lockdown. But like I was very comfortable. I was very happy to be here. Like I never it didn't feel like a step down or anything like that, or I was just thrown into the mix and just some random guy who could be some jobber. Like I came in. Go ahead.
No, continue.
I was able to come in. I felt like I proved to be I can work with the guys there. Like I feel like I can work with at least half the locker room. Go in there and put on phenomenal matches. Great people and very welcoming. Like I never felt like an outcast.
Yeah, 100%. And like just as somebody that's like been in RCW pretty much like my whole career, like. When you came in, like I've never ever had an issue with you being unprofessional or a dickhead or anything like that. You've always been of the utmost like cool to me. So like,
oh well, thank you. I appreciate that. I always try to put out that vibe and everything, and just be really good to people.
Yeah. So like,
you want to get respect, you gotta give it, right?
100%. And like, I mean, another thing, me and you have almost wrestled. In
almost like 4 times.
and the thing is, most of the time, every time we hear, oh, tonight you and KB6 are wrestling in a triple threat match with Kato. This has happened at least like 2 or 3 times on shows. And then one of us gets moved off, or usually I get moved into another match.
Yeah. All 3 always get moved into something else.
Yeah, but I mean, hopefully one day when the shows resume, me and you and Kato will get to hook up in that 3-way, because I do think it would be a good match.
That would be good. It'll be very interesting. We all have different styles.
Yeah, and I mean, I think we're all sort of like fan favorites too. So
yeah, that'd be a nice big babyface match. Mm-hmm. It'd be really fun.
Yeah, so let me ask you, I know we have surpassed the hour mark here, but we spent a lot of time on why you left MPW.
Yeah, so I'm bad on
that. But I do want to just touch on, like, who are your top 3 guys that you are yet to face in RCW that you want to hook up with before the
that I have not faced?
Yeah.
Well, Dylan Stone, I haven't worked him yet, so that's going to be one. Vince Austin, I've never wrestled him.
Oh, Vince Austin is fantastic.
I'll work with him. Who else? I'm trying to think. I think those might be the only ones I haven't worked.
Have you worked Slammer?
I have worked Slammer. I have.
Slammer's awesome.
I messed up my shoulder in that match.
Oh, no.
Yeah, not to his fault or anything like that. It's just one of those freak accidents kind of thing.
Yeah,
that's the nature of our business.
Things will happen. Have you had a chance to work with Steve Rivers?
No, that would be him. Yes, Steve Rivers, Vince Austin, and Dylan Stone. Those are the only 3 I can think that I have not worked yet.
Well, I think those would all be fantastic.
Aside from you.
Yeah, and me.
Yeah.
I'd like to wrestle you as well. It'd be fun.
That would be.
I mean, we train together sometimes.
Yeah, so like, we're familiar with each other and go out there, put on, it'd be a great match.
Yeah, competition,
Exactly.
Friendly competition is always good. Alrighty, well, Brennan, KB6. You are, of course, I should say, like, you're called KB6 because you're King Brandon from the 6, right? So
no, King Bright of the 6.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, go with the last name, but yeah, it's fine.
Okay, I thought I thought that was you were King Brandon from the 6, like it was a Toronto thing or something. Don't they call Toronto the 6?
Oh yeah. That part is.
Oh,
it's
okay.
just you just messed up the B. That's all good though. Brandon Bright, either one works.
Well, I want to thank you so much for joining me here on Monday Night Shaw and reminiscing and truly explaining why sometimes those Northern Hell tours are adamantly named.
Yep.
And thank you very much for coming on the show, and I look forward to
thank you for having me.
Bigger and brighter things in your future, Brandon, because
yes.
You're KB6. I'm sorry I keep using your real name, boss.
It's fine, my man.
But I just want to thank you for coming on again, and I look forward to working with you in the future. Do you have any social media plugs you want to get out there? Let the folks know about your Instagram, Twitter, Facebook, whatever you got.
Instagram is K_B_6. My TikTok and my Twitter is King6Bright.
Awesome possum. Okie dokie, folks. Well, thank you very much for listening to this episode of Monday Night Shaw. It's been a while coming. I've been wanting to get this done with KB6 for some time, and now it's in the books. So thanks for listening, and we'll talk to you next time.
Nova Scotia and the Brunswick, Quebec.